I never got to say goodbye to my big sister. But something I always remember she told me is to never say goodbye, to say see you later.
Welcome to another episode of J Inclusive. Like, comment, subscribe, and set your notifications so you are alerted every time I upload. Now let's get into this update.
Surrounded by family, politicians, and activists, Gabrielle and Kelly Stillday speak on the loss of their sister, Savannah Williams.
There's no good that comes from homicide.
Savannah was a beautiful soul, kind, loving.
Savannah's life suddenly ended in November last year, and now her convicted killer is sentenced. Demarion Bible was sentenced Wednesday to 30.5 years in prison, the state max for intentional second-degree murder.
His actions have forever stained our lives with grief.
Demarion reportedly confessed after investigators found surveillance video of him near the South Minneapolis scene. According to the criminal complaint, the 25-year-old told police he began to feel suspicious during a sexual encounter with Savannah and that he shot her in the head.
It shows you Savannah was a magnet. She pulled everyone towards her, including the defendant.
Hennepin County Attorney Mary Moriarty says the case did not fit the legal standard to be charged as a hate crime, but says that doesn't mean hate was absent that fall morning.
The fact that we could not charge this as a bias crime does not change the impact that this crime has had on making our trans community feel less safe.
She says nationally, 85% of transgender people killed between 2021 and 2022 were people of color.
I am Savannah. You know, I'm a trans person of color, and I face those discriminations.
Savannah's family plans to hold a one-year memorial event on November 29th and says all are welcome to come. Kaya Edwards, KARE 11.
The love, the laugh, the memories she gave will live on forever in our heart.
November 29th, 2023, around 9 a.m., police responded to reports of a person not breathing in a courtyard at the Minneapolis South Rotary Club, located in Minnesota. Once authorities arrived on scene, they realized that they had a homicide on their hands, as the person who had been reported as not breathing had a fatal wound to the head, and upon further examination of the body, investigators could tell that they had been deceased for a few hours. Savannah Williams was from Minneapolis, Minnesota, a city which is ranked as one of the top 4 U.S. cities in LGBT population by percentage of total residents. Savannah studied at the ITT Technical Institute, and since 2018, she had been working for Amazon. According to her husband of 7 years, Courtney Mason, she was a very loving and caring person. She loved having fun, watching movies, and listening to slow love songs by artists like Beyoncé and Drake. She also enjoyed baseball, acrylic painting, swimming, and animal rescue. Savannah was fierce, full of life, and according to others who knew her, the 38-year-old had a big personality and an even bigger heart.
We are so sad that she is gone and heartbroken.
Family members of Savannah Ryan Williams only have memories to hold on to.
Savannah was outgoing, very outspoken.
Family members are hoping Williams' death brings attention to an ongoing threat plaguing the trans community.
The love, the laugh, the memories she gave will live on forever in our heart.
So who could have committed such a heinous act towards such a beautiful soul, and just as important, why? In so many of these cases, the perpetrator gets away, but that would not be the case this time. As police began canvassing the area, interviewing witnesses, and combing through surveillance footage that had been recovered from buildings and local businesses, they found a person of interest, and there was no way he could deny his involvement, as his movements on the surveillance footage led authorities right to his doorstep. December 5th, 2023, investigators went to an apartment complex with a photo of their suspect. When approached by investigators, the leasing office knew exactly who he was, as they had filed a notice of eviction against him that same day. Police waited outside for their suspect to show up, and when he did, they arrested 25-year-old Demarion Bible. When taken back to the station, Bible initially denied being involved, but when shown video evidence, he knew he was caught, and therefore admitted to shooting Savannah in the head. Surveillance showed Savannah and Bible walking toward the crime scene at 5 a.m. The footage also showed Bible leaving the courtyard alone around 5:45 a.m., right around the time witnesses reported hearing a gunshot from that area. Witnesses also stated that they saw a man at that moment walking north from the crime scene along 4th Avenue toward Lake Street. Video then showed Bible head to the Lake Street Light Rail Station, where he rode a train downtown and exited at the Nicollet 5th Street station. He walked south to an apartment building at 95 South 10th Street, which is, of course, where police apprehended him. According to Bible, that evening, he walked past Savannah, who was sitting at a bus shelter on Lake Street. He said that Savannah asked him if he wanted sex. He said yes, and so they went to the nearby courtyard, the same one where Savannah's body had been found. Bible said at some point, he began to feel suspicious of Williams, and once they were finished having intercourse, he pulled a 9mm handgun out from his pocket and shot the victim at point-blank range. In a phone call to his parents from jail, Bible once again admitted to killing someone, telling his father that while he felt sorry and wasn't God, he had to do it. As if surveillance footage wasn't enough, a search of his apartment turned up a 9mm polymer 80 handgun with no serial number along with a .22 caliber rifle. Investigators also recovered the clothing and shoes Bible wore during the murder, as seen on surveillance video. As of present day, it is unclear what Bible meant when he said he was suspicious of Savannah, as there was no evidence of her trying to harm or rob him. So what was he suspicious of? If he was not God, as he proclaimed, then why did he believe so strongly that he had to take another human's life? While many in the local community believe it was transphobia that drove him to shoot Savannah.
Regardless of what we do to support ourselves in this world that is actively not built for us, that doesn't mean that we should get murdered for it.
Lawmakers, allies, and the LGBTQ+ community are calling the shooting a hate crime. Based on FBI data, anti-trans violence is on the rise across Minnesota and the country.
We will never stop fighting. Every single one of our siblings is loved by the people you see up here. Savannah is a beloved member of our community, and she should still be alive.
Her sister, Gabrielle Stillday, does not share that same belief, stating she was murdered because Bible was curious, or should we use word suspicious? From the beginning to the end, she said, and Gabrielle may be right. In February 2020, Bible fled a hospital where he was on a mental health hold, which led to a disorderly conduct conviction. So in that moment, was Bible hearing voices? Did he become paranoid? Were there voices in his head telling him to shoot Savannah? As of now, we don't have those answers, but I'm sure his legal team will do their best to use his past mental health issues as a defense. As details of this case emerged and names became public, many began digging into Savannah's past as well. If it wasn't her gender identity that caused Bible to murder her, then what was it? According to legal documents, in 2019 Savannah was convicted of felony aggravated robbery, with a total of 4 aggravated robbery convictions, along with other felony convictions in the state of Minnesota. According to this same source, Savannah spent 5 years in state prison, which could raise questions of whether or not Savannah had tried to rob or harm Bible. Do I believe she had intentions of robbing him? No. Do I believe Bible may have been having a mental episode and something Savannah may have unknowingly said caused him to become suspicious of her? It's possible, but no matter her past, her life was valuable and she should still be her amongst the living. Her sister said it best.
You all out there need to open your hearts and be willing to look past her past mistakes and judge her off her beautiful soul and know she was a loving and kind person. Savannah is our superstar. Do you have a superstar? If you answered yes, please don't judge her, 'cause she wouldn't judge you.
In addition to his second-degree murder charge, in connection to Savannah's death, Bible has also been charged with aggravated robbery for an incident that occurred on Nicollet Mall on November 5th. His bail is set at $1 million. No one knows exactly what transpired that night except Bible and Savannah, but if she did indeed offer him sexual favors without disclosing that she was transgender, she was playing with fire. If a trans woman is going to engage in relations with a man or a woman, I do believe it should be disclosed prior to said act occurring. Not only is it fair to the other person, but it could also save your life. Trans women, your gender identity is not a joke, neither is someone's sexual orientation, and while you may perceive any man who is trans attracted as being heterosexual, everyone does not feel that way, so please, be safe out there.
Tea time at the Aliveness Project.
Trans-centered spaces make me feel recognized.
Is where transgender women can go to feel safe.
That we're like rebuilding a sisterhood.
When there is so much uncertainty when they step outside.
She attended tea time and she was just like full of light.
Savannah Ryan Williams would go to this support group.
I'm here because nobody deserves to die this way.
We have a right to life. Savannah had a right to live. It should be alive. There is no other detail that matters. Being murdered in the way that this happened, it is beyond gruesome and ghastly.
State Representative Lee Finke used to go to tea time. She shares feelings of anxiety with the women here.
I think it needs to stop. Like, we can't just walk. We have to be able to walk in public and not just be constantly looking over our shoulder.
They say there's fear when they're outside. Here, they'll comfort one another.
We are people at the end of the day, and we are humans just like.
Rest in peace, Savannah Ryan Williams.